today's also time for first X video. I'm doing a full tier list for all the 5 stars in the game and unbound units. And let me just say, some of the news are meta, but some of them are kind of, you'll just see what I say. But two things I want you guys to keep in mind before checking out the tier list. One, check the pinned comment, because I might make any changes based on you guys' valid points that you guys put in the comment section down below. And second, watch until the end and listen to what I have to say, even if you want to watch it in 2x speed, because there'll be a lot of explanations that I want you guys to hear for where I put certain units there. Before you just skip to the end and say, yeah, this is wrong, and then you put in the comments and then you didn't hear what I said and I already mentioned it. But before this video starts, please do me a favor, subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers, so please do subscribe. I'm uploading and streaming every single day. And also, if you already subscribed, please like the video, just help me out a ton. But I'll stop asking for stuff and let's just get straight into the video. Now, all of these units are collector's units, including Kisame and Sailor, since they're limited time units. Even though they're pretty okay, I wouldn't say either of these are meta, and that's why I put them in the collector, because if they're not meta and they're limited units, you might as well put them like collector, because Aqua, she's pretty good, but she's not all that, she's not meta. Same goes for Sailor Moon, same goes for Kisame, same goes for Edward. Gyu's pretty decent, that's why I didn't put him in collector. Even though he's a limited unit, he's still actually a pretty good unit, so that's why, you know, these are in the collector's unit and they aren't. I mean, it's only Gyu, but you get the point. Uni, mid, and also you might try to argue, but look, just leave it. She's mid, she's got tiny range, sure she does bleed, but you got units like Sukuna to do bleed without tiny range, okay? So she'll always stay in mid. Alright, then we have the good tier. All these units are pretty good. Sukuna and Freyren got moved down. I might move them up in a little bit depending on how many people are in Meta Hill. These lot are pretty good, they're all hill ground. He got buffed last update and I didn't realize, so I moved him up. Whitebit's fully AoE, so actually I'll take him over, but he's still just, there's just too many ground units. They keep adding so many ground units to the point where, like, sure, Whitebit's fully AoE, but very last upgrades, he's not doing enough damage. So if you're a new player, don't get any of the units I've mentioned so far, because you don't really need them. There's better options. Sukuna, actually, I'll move him back up though, but actually, yeah, let me just move him back up real quick. Okay, then we've got support tier. So all these units you should be getting because they're all support units. They all do different things. So realistically, if you're trying to be a pro of the game, get literally all of them. Okay, you don't have to. But the ones I highly recommend is obviously Farm. He's the only farm in the game. Esdeath, Blackbeard. Can get this guy. Actually, don't need him. But yeah, at least get these 3 minimum. These 3 are the buffs. He does time stop, but you don't need him. If you're a leadable player, you might do. And then this guy just does a bit of freeze. But Esdeath also does freeze. Okay. They have only progressive. Now, realistically, you are only going to be using these units in progressive stages. They're pretty good for progressive, but you're not going to be using them too much at progressive. They're all good for progressive. So, Aaron's actually pretty good for progressive stages because he breaks shields and he does the summons. Goku does cheap heal, and Ace is also cheap heal, but he's not that good compared to other heal units, even after his AoE is fixed. But he still is good in progressive game modes. That's why I have him in the only progressive tier. You could argue with me saying, nah, he's actually better than this, but I genuinely don't think so. Maybe I could actually move Ace up to like here. Maybe. If you guys say in the pinned comment, then sure, I'll change it a bit. But realistically, a lot of these units, I'm not using them outside of progressive. You know what? Let me just change it. Real quick. So Eren, I'm taking Eren over Whitebeard maybe, you know, because he's a little bit more useful. I'll leave him like here. And then, you know what, we'll just, because these two aren't bad. They just aren't that good either though, in my opinion. I'll kind of take him over Sukuna though. Okay, yeah, we'll leave it like this. But I feel like this is just too many units in this tier for now. Oh well. Okay, so we've got Meta Hill and Meta Ground. Killua, you're probably going to be saying, if you don't know nothing about Killua, whoa, why are you saying he's the best hill? Okay, I'll explain Killua and Zeke being over Ulquiorra, because those are going to raise concerns in Meta Hill. Killua, I don't want to see too many arguments about. He does 500 less DPS, not including stats or traits, according to the wiki, the stat team or whatever, the wiki. He does 500 less DPS than Zeke and Ulquiorra, but not only is Killua full AoE, which is very OP, hits his entire range, and his entire range is not tiny. It's not bigger than Zeke or Ulquiorra's, but it's definitely not that small. So he's full AoE, doing only 500 less DPS, so the full AoE definitely accounts for that. And on top of all of that, he also is doing shock, meaning he's also 900 to place down, meaning in my opinion, he's the best hill in the game. Sure, he might do a little bit less DPS than Ulquiorra or Zeke, but he has full AoE, which is very OP, especially with a lot of the units. AoE comes to this game, he's straight dookie. So yeah, and he's also doing shock to everybody in his range, which means he's doing stun and some of his DPS to the enemies. So yeah, very, very OP, and in my opinion, the best healer in the game. Now, I'm not saying that just because I have also on him, but he's literally full AoE. Like, it's hard to beat a full AoE unit when they're doing enough damage, alright? It's just a fact. And he's cheap to place down. So, and he has very, very low SPA. Very, very low SPA. That's why he has high DPS. So imagine if you did his SPA potential, even more OP. You know what I'm saying? Then Zeke, the only reason I have Zeke over Ulquiorra, he does the same DPS before Ulquiorra uses his ability, which is very, very hard to get off. But Zeke is 900 place down and hybrid on placement. So just cheaper to place down and a little bit more convenient. That's why I have Zeke over Ulquiorra. And you can get Zeke's full potential on placement rather than not on placement. But when you max out Zeke, you have his full potential. Ulquiorra, you have to wait to get ability damage or whatever. You need to get damage on him to use his ability properly. And then we got Broly, still very, very good. Mihawk still alright. Actually, I might put Mihawk under Ace, you know. Maybe. If you guys want. And then you got Goku's a little bit worse version of Ace. Then we got Sukunda's Bleed. That's why I'm leaving him in Meta Hill. Then we've got Meta Ground. There's a couple of new units in Meta Ground. Giyu, he pretty much just raw DPS with a thin line AoE. But he does do a lot of damage compared to Sung Ji-woo. So, but at the same time, Sung Ji-woo has Igris as well. Like, might say he's actually worse than Sung Ji-woo, you know, maybe. I'll leave him there for now just because he out DPSs, I think. But he doesn't out DPS, or he does a little bit more DPS than Ishtar, but Ishtar still has his ability where she hits anywhere on the map, so anywhere you're standing pretty much. And then you got Akainu, who I think is a little bit worse than Crocodile, but I want people to keep in mind here, Crocodile, you can say he's here and it'd be valid. Like, Crocodile is not all that, you know. It's like these two, they're good, but they're not crazy. Like, they're not crazy, do you know what I'm saying? Like, Akainu is good as, like, they're both good. Crocodile, he just does raw DPS. He doesn't do no passive, nothing, which is sad. Like, why doesn't he do slow? Why did, like a different form of just something? He does nothing. He just does raw DPS. In terms of raw DPS, he's above Akainu if you don't but maybe with Akainu's ability, he might be more by barely. But in terms of raw DPS, Alligator Crocodile, he does have more than Akainu, including his burn. But with Akainu's ability, might be Akainu might have a little bit more. I'm not sure. But in terms of raw DPS and burn, Crocodile's better. Crollo I have over Kokushibo because his nuke, if you have All-Star on Crollo, it will do 2 mil damage. His nuke is insanely OP, and that's why I have it over Crollo because, over Kokushibo, because Kokushibo's ability is a bit mid. The thing is, Crollo is more useful in Infinite. I mean, you can use Kokushibo and Crollo everywhere, but, I mean, in terms of Infinite, like, Crollo's abilities is just insane. It's a nuke. It's a nuke. Like, whether you like it or not, it's a nuke. So, that's why I have him over. But these two are very, very close, and these two are very, very close. But, yeah. So, if you're a new player, okay, let's say you're a player, you hopped on this update. Yo, what units am I gonna go for? Unit you need to get is Killua. You need to get Killua. You need to get Crollo, but, you know, Crollo's an unbound unit in a banner X, I'm pretty sure. So, it's unbound, so the chance of you getting him is quite low, but if you get him, you get him. Giyu, you don't really need to get. Sure, he's meta ground, but he's towards the end for a reason. Realistically, I could even move him here, so you don't need to get Giyu. A Crocodile, you could get him, but you don't need to. Like, he does raw DPS, but it's just raw. Like, I don't know, you don't need to get. Like, if you already have a Akainu, you don't need to get him. He'll be better than Akainu, but barely. If you're trying to get all the meta units, trying to do LB, whatever, then yeah, you get him. But you don't, it's not like a must have from this update if you have a Akainu. If you don't have a Akainu, you don't have Crocodile, get Crocodile, you know what I'm saying? But if you already have a Akainu, you don't need to get Crocodile, but he is good. Like, he's bad, but just, it's up by barely. It's not even by that much, or he might even be a bit worse. Do you get what I'm saying? So, it's up to you, But yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you're a new player, what units to go for? Get Killua, get Zeke, and who else? I mean, you could go for other units afterwards to get all the supports at some point. But yeah, get Killua, get Zeke. These two, like, especially Zeke, I would say if I'm a new player, I'm gonna do a new pro account. If I did one, you can let me know if you want me to do one, yeah. But new player, get Zeke because he's 900. He's hybrid to place. He's 900 place down, and he's hybrid off the banner. So Killua, you can have to evo him to be good, but obviously Killua would be great. Zeke, the moment you summon him, it'll be amazing. So yeah, I'll stop yapping. Subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to 100k, uploading and streaming every single day. Like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord server down below. Let me know if I should make any changes to the pinned comment down below. Let's stop yapping and see you guys in the next one. Peace.